This will be fucking wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeet. There we go. There's the announcement right there, I think, right?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
it is.
okay. All right. Hello, everybody. You know me. I'm Grim the Fang King, and this is some retarded shit I'm gonna have to address right now. The idea that I even have to make this is pretty fucking stupid and pathetic. But so I have a bunch of spurgs currently harassing me in my comment section and other places about me supposedly playing a role in somebody's death by suicide. We'll address that. Okay, we'll address the suicide allegations. We'll address the so-called proof on both sides, right? Before we do that, first, I want to establish what preponderance of evidence is and what the standards for burden of proof are, because it's very important to define what we would consider evidence, correct?
Yeah.
I think everybody can agree with that, right? So the preponderance of evidence standard, which, you know, people like Seth the Programmer have talked about, would be on the low end of the scale, less than 50%, you would start off with no finding of evidence, which would be no information to support a report or a claim, okay? The next step of the ladder would be little information to support the report or claim. The next step would be insufficient information to support said report or claim. And then you hit 50%. After 50%, you have sufficient information to support a report. Then up from that is substantial information to support a report. And then the best possible thing you could have, which would be like beyond a reasonable doubt, would be overwhelming information to support a report or claim. Okay? That's how it works. Okay? Standards for burden of proof, moving on to that real fucking quick. Those would be what you see in a court of law. Okay? You want to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, which requires elimination of every reasonable doubt. It starts off at the bottom of the pyramid with reasonable suspicion, which is specific and articulable facts, okay? Then probable cause, which is facts and circumstances that lead an ordinary person to believe something. Then preponderance, which means something is more likely than not. Clear and convincing evidence, which would give you a firm belief or conviction. And then again, beyond a reasonable doubt, which would eliminate every reasonable doubt. Okay, so if, as many of you know, if you were to do, say, a formal debate or something, or you were to go into a court of law, okay, if you posit a claim, if you assert a positive claim saying that something is factual, you have to back that up with evidence. Evidence includes statements, includes proof like pictures or, you know, like physical evidence, things like that. And obviously you need more than statements, baseless statements, to convict somebody of a serious crime or something, correct? Okay. Here's where we get into the PlayStation Labs thing, because I want to make this incredibly clear. I have nothing to do with whatever the fuck people believe happened to this kid. And I'll explain that, because it's funny that these people are all saying this man committed suicide and he's dead and all this, and somehow it's my fault. But none of them have provided proof or any evidence to support their claims that I have anything to do with that. So, you know, you're making a lot of big claims, but you haven't proved anything. You haven't shown me any evidence of anything I've done wrong. But we'll go ahead and we'll talk about our history of interactions in the clothespin server with PlayStation Labs. Also, Lord Popo is in fact an admin here. He and I are the admins. Capo here is a mod. Okay, he has privileges akin to an admin. He's essentially like an honorary admin. So let's get in and talk about PlayStation Labs history. Okay, so this guy for some time now has been randomly going into general chat or just other channels in the server, and he'll start talking about how shitty his home life is from his perspective. He'll talk about that his like little siblings are out of control and his mother refuses to control them, and they do things like cursing and masturbating and all kinds of crazy stuff around the house, and how it's like trash and they break his stuff and all this, and his mom doesn't care. Okay?
Wait, hold on.
Let's make this clear.
Well, I never heard the accusation about masturbation.
Yeah, no, that's on his Reddit post. If you read his Reddit post,
which is weird.
I want to say something right now. I'm going to say something right now since the journal is not watching. I am Lord Popo. I am the one that was in your chat. and I am an admin on Clothespin's Discord.
Yeah, he is. He's equal rank to me.
And the same thing
Capo
as
here.
Grim. And if whoever's streaming this right now will show the Discord, I will type in chat to prove who I am.
Yeah. Think of it like this. I've been here since the beginning. If you consider me Clothespin's right hand, you would consider Popo at the moment to be his left hand, right? Or his dick, or whatever the fuck meme that you want to fucking chop off the top of your head, I guess. Capo's also one of us.
Sorry, what?
Well, who are you saying what to, me or Popo, or who?
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I heard my name.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying that you are essentially, you're a mod, but you have equal power to us essentially in this Discord.
Well, kind of equal power. I'm above the mods, but I'm below you.
Yeah. So, to get back to the PlayStationLab stuff, when he first reached out and was saying all this stuff about his home life and how his siblings act horribly and his mom doesn't care and she's like neglecting them or whatever, they break his shit and they make the house a pigsty and they're loud and they curse and they masturbate and all this kinds of crazy stuff. The first thing that everybody on this server did was talk to him about the situation and tell him, like, look, honestly, if things are really that bad and you truly believe that your mom is neglecting her duties as a parent and stuff, the best thing that you can do is go to Child Protective Services, okay? Everybody gave him this advice, and at first he was like, you know what, you're right, I need to do something. A couple weeks later he comes back and he's like saying that the same stuff is happening, and we're like, well, we told you the best thing that you can do is either remove yourself from the situation or go to CPS, and he's like, oh, well, I don't want to call CPS. Okay, so, okay. All right, well, then the next best thing you can do, since you don't have control over this situation and you are, by your own admission, unable to do anything about it and nobody will listen to you, the best thing that you can do is remove yourself from the situation. And he said, well, I don't have money. Okay, so we told him the first step to getting money would be doing what? Filling out applications and finding a job, correct? Okay. He told us that there is a job that he could get, but he doesn't want to do that job because he doesn't like that job. Okay. So we told him to look for other things. And he would always just make excuses as to why, like, he didn't feel like looking for these different lines of work. Okay, fine, fair enough, whatever. Everybody would listen to him, everybody would talk to him, everybody was nice to him. It became a constant thing where he would just come in here and he would start complaining about this stuff, and he wasn't doing anything to try to change his life. He just wanted to sit there and he wanted to victimize himself. And as we have many people in here who have struggled with depression, they've had hard home lives, they know what it's like. People have, you know, what should I say, empathized with him, and they have talked to him about his issues. But he seemed unwilling to do anything about it, okay? There were plenty of times where he talked about depression and wanting to kill himself. Okay, he would just talk about it, and then he would say that he was going to do something, and then he wouldn't do something. Okay, and again, we didn't want him to do anything. We referred him to like suicide helplines and everything else, just like anybody else would, but he just didn't want to take our advice. Now, it's important to note that after a while, people started to get irritated, and some people told him things like, "Listen." I even myself spoke to him and said, "Listen, as somebody who had a hard home life and grew up in a shitty fucking environment, you can either be a victim and you can wallow in your situation, and eventually it's going to get to you enough to where you're going to go insane or you're going to do something bad, right? Or
okay, hold on. I want to ask this.
Sure.
So I see somebody says look on Kiwi Farms. Are you talking about the thread about Mad Black Atheist? Because I searched up fucking PlayStation.
Yeah, it's literally the last page, and it's literally some fucking random friend of PlayStationLabs going on there and posting fucking random conversations from Facebook that there's no name, there's no proof that it's anybody, you know, it's literally just some basic ass Facebook shit, which is easily faked. Oh, yeah. And you know, this guy literally could have created two Facebook accounts and talked to himself. There are no names listed. There's really no proof. I mean, I'm sorry, but you need more evidence than that.
Hold on, I'm gonna read.
Show me a police report.
Okay, so I saw this in Perfection Sofa. It's confirmed. who claimed his death was fake. His uncle, blah 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 blah. So the real problem I have with this though is he's posting this in the Mad Black Entertainment Kiwi forums, right? What the fuck do we have to do with this? I mean, we've fucking said multiple times before. I mean, we even made videos fucking talking shit about NBA. We don't like NBA. We don't like the fucking league, right?
Mind you, okay, I said the same thing about the NBA stuff. I said the same thing about the Perfection stuff when they faked court documents and Facebook messages about Perfection, even though I don't like him and I think he's a piece of shit, and all those other guys. It's always the same thing. Don't believe everything that you read or see on the internet. It's easily manipulated. Like, you should really sit there and fucking look for more proof. Show me a police report. Show me a death certificate. Show me a news story. Okay? Show me the obituary. Okay? These are things that, in a couple days' time, would be proof. Okay? Instead of jumping on this bandwagon and blindly believing shit like sheep, just like those people who believe everything they see on the fucking news about every little story that's ever told. The whole, yo, this is how your Dawn dish soap is killing you tonight at 10 type shit. Like, show me actual evidence. That's not actual evidence. That's somebody posting something that's vague on the internet that's easily manipulated, and the important details are, of course, crossed out. So, I mean, why are you crossing out this man's name on Facebook, considering that Facebook is a public space and the profiles on Facebook, while they can be set to private, are still hosted in a public domain, and you can go there and you can confirm the accounts, right? Mm-hmm. Seems interesting to me that somebody would choose to do that.
I also want to confirm something in case anybody's gonna sit there and slander anybody. Clothespins hasn't been around.
He's been hiking.
He's been hiking.
Yeah.
He's been
out there fucking
thing.
Doing some mountain climbing shit like the Chad that he is. Like, he hasn't even been here. And I wasn't even here last night when supposedly shit happened with PlayStation Labs. I wasn't even fucking here. I didn't even speak one time in the fucking general chat. So I don't know how fucking people are fucking trying to pin this on me and say I was involved in his death or whatever. I wasn't there. So, but anyways, to get on with the fucking shit with PlayStation Labs, I told him, listen, you can either be a victim and wallow in this situation, okay, or you can rise above your situation, focus on you. Stop worrying about the shit you can't control. Stop worrying about the shit you can control in your own life, because you are the only one who can improve your own life. And that is the advice I gave him. And you know what he turned around and said? He said, thanks, Grim. That's a really good advice. Like, actually helps me, like, motivates me to do something about my situation and get myself out of it. Elevate myself above this drama, okay? Obviously, he didn't take that advice. As always, he just went back to doing the same thing every week and constantly complaining about it. And it made it seem to a lot of people that he was seeking attention. Nobody was rude to him about it, but people started telling him, listen, if you need support, which gets to the next point, I have been informed by Killer here, Capo, that the only thing that he told him was to stop posting this stuff in general chat because he's constantly doing it, and that because, you know, if you want help, if you want somebody to talk to, reach out in DMs. Like, he was telling him, look, I'm more than happy to talk to you. We're more than happy to talk to you to keep your head above water, make sure that you're okay. But stop making this public, because it seems like it's just making it harder on you, because you're not taking like the feedback and advice people want to give you, which, well, you didn't say that expressly.
Well, basically, my whole problem with it was mostly the fact that, like, he's making it public, which both makes it seem like he's doing it for attention, which I'm not saying he is, or he was, but it makes it seem like he's doing it for attention. And on top of that, it makes other people uncomfortable when they go into the general chat and they see this type of stuff, and they just want to kind of have a good time.
Which we weren't assuming that he was doing it for attention. We had several people bring it to our attention that, hey, man, like, I'm kind of getting irritated at this PlayStation Lab stuff, because it kind of seems like he's doing it for attention at this point, because he's constantly doing it, constantly talking about, like, all this crap and how, like, he wants to die and all this, right? If you go look at his Reddit posts, what's his name on Reddit? Like, something Logic or whatever, Logic something?
Logic Scope, I think it is.
Logic Scope. Okay, if you look at his Reddit posts, the ones that weren't removed by the bots on Reddit, you'll see that in the comments, a lot of other people were giving him the exact same advice about CPS, about like removing himself from the situation. And people on Reddit also got fed up with him going on there and constantly, like, he made a bunch of posts about it, and he didn't want to take people's advice. So it seemed like he wanted pity to them rather than to actually do something about a situation. In life, there are no handouts. You have to do things for yourself. Nobody is going to hand everything to you on a silver plate unless you got like trust fund type money, okay? And most of us didn't grow up with that. So we had to go out in the world and make our own lives for ourselves, okay? And that's all there is to it, okay? And that is as far as all of that went. And the last interaction that I had with PlayStation Labs, he told us he was excited about this Minecraft movie he made, and he wanted an honest and critical review of the content. Okay, we were honest and critical in the review of his content. Okay, you can say that was being mean, you can say that was bullying. He wanted that. He appreciated the honesty, and he said that he was going to work harder in the future to try to, you know, sync his audio better and to try to, you know, have his cast act a little better and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I think I also want to point out that when he sent us the because he sent us the link to the to his movie or whatever, because he made it private or whatever, where you have to have the link. So after that, you know, I watched over the we watched it, and then a couple of hours later, I was like, okay, I wanted to see the bits that I missed. I was just curious. So I went to click on the link, and it was already removed because he was doing the due diligence of removing it and trying to fix up the audio where he could.
Precisely. He realized that our critique of his movie was at least sound enough and made enough sense to him that he wanted to remove the movie, and he wanted to do another project that would be better and have, you know, how do you say it, better production value, better production quality, right? And he never said anything about being all depressed and wanting to kill himself over it. So I would like to see evidence of how you're going to pin that on me or anybody else here. I would really like to see that evidence of how we had something to do with this. This is literally the same shit where the fucking trolls on the fake League member accounts would come to my channel and harass me and talk about like how I'm with the League or some shit. It's the same stupid type of bullshit. It's square peg round hole shit. It really is.
I don't understand why the League is even involved in any of this stuff.
Yeah,
we have literally done nothing to the League in a long while.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I don't even know if it's... Look, you can't even tell if it's League members, because, like, half the fucking League member accounts that were fucking commenting on my shit were fake versions of League members' accounts. And I have fucking evidence of that. When you go look at the account age, like, you have it like, oh, this account's 3 months ago, and the real account was created 5 years ago. So, like, it's clearly obvious people fucking trolling and trying to stir up drama for the sake of fucking drama. But regardless, let's get on to the fucking nitty-gritty of this situation, okay? After everybody started accusing us and coming to give me all this wonderful hate on my fucking video, which is literally just a preview for a fucking song. It's not even a diss track or anything. It's a preview for a fucking song that I was working on, okay? Not a diss track. There was literally no drama. People wanted to create drama where there was no fucking drama because of sound bites that I used just to have, like, a hype interlude between, like, when the beat drops in again. Like, people literally apparently don't know what fucking production is when it comes to, like, fucking producing beats, so I don't know what to tell them. But so they come and they want to hate, which, by the way, guys, thank you so much for the interaction. I appreciate the dislikes and the comments, the hate comment. I really do. So you know, you want to sit there and talk shit and say my channel is dead and all that while you're, like, you know, making sure that it stays alive by going in and giving me interaction. So I mean, whatever, fucking kudos to you guys. A real fucking big brain move there, pro gamer shit. But okay. Yeah, so people wanted to make those comments, and PlayStation Labs' account was in here tonight talking and trying to convince us that PlayStation Labs is dead, right? Which people were saying, oh, it was somebody else on his account. It was somebody else on his account. If it was somebody else on his fucking account, prove it. Please prove somebody else has access to his account. Prove how they got access to account, and prove it wasn't him. Because we kept asking him to get in VC, and guess what? He wouldn't get in a VC. He kept making up excuses. You know what the number that tells me right there? That's a big red flag that it's PlayStation Labs, and he knows if he gets in VC, everybody's gonna know it's fucking him, so he won't get in VC. That turns out to be the case in 90% of events like this.
Speaking of which, I have received. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say we gave three different things that he could provide evidence for that would be like, okay, yeah, we'll believe it at this point. Those three things is either like some kind of confirmation from a valid source that he is deceased, confirmation that somebody else is on his account. Oh fuck, what was the other one?
Confirmation that we literally contributed to his supposed suicide.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We had none of those.
Where is your evidence or proof? Nothing. You have some bullshit fucking jacked ass looking Facebook messages on a Kiwi Farms thread. Cool. Okay.
Here's I'm gonna say something. You got plenty of floor room there. All right. So I'm gonna say my piece stuff. I honestly have no idea what NBA or the league has anything to do with any of this stuff. Speaking purely what happened on Clothespin server, he came into the server. We didn't say anything about it. He changed his Discord name. I can prove that through our audit logs that he changed his own name to quitting Discord. He did this last night. And we spoke about it in our admin channel, saying, well, we're not going to touch it. We're not going to say anything. Leave it as it is. Maybe he's just upset, and maybe he just needs to cool down. He came in here, 4 hours ago, I think it is now, and said that the person that owns this account is now dead, and that there was a contingency plan set in place for somebody to take over the account to inform people. Now, I sat there and was talking to him while I was sitting there at work. And as I was sitting there talking to him, I kept asking him to prove if that's him, if he's actually gone. He said that he had a screenshot of police being outside of a house.
Well,
and
let me
that
get
he
the
was
exact
going to
quote
post
here.
it.
I can actually pull it up, actually. Hold on, let me find which picture it was. He said straight up that he had that there was somebody who had
one of the people involved is dealing with police at the moment. Let me get the screenshot.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be clear. There was no screenshot posted after this. And I kind of wish Discord was being shown right now so I could show this.
Also, let's be clear about something else too. The police wouldn't be fucking instant messaging some fucking random dude over the fucking internet about shit. So, who the fuck online is supposedly dealing with the police over somebody's death who isn't even fucking related to them? Get fucking real. If you believe that shit, then you're fucking pathetic, honestly. You don't have two fucking brain cells to rub together.
He continues to... I brought up the fact that somebody named Kermit messaged on their account saying that the people on Clothespin's douches on Clothespin server were making fun of him for no absolute reason. We weren't making fun of him. The only time I ever made fun of him for anything is when he said something stupid. If Grim says something stupid, I make fun of him. If Killa says something stupid, I make fun of him. If I say something stupid, I get made fun of. It's just the nature of the business.
It's just the server, right? If somebody says something stupid, we bull on them and have a good time. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
It's literally one of the rules in the server. It's literally one of the rules in the server that if you say something fucking retarded, somebody can call it fucking retarded. And
when I asked him to prove if he had any proof person passed away, he said, "Can you prove that I'm not him?" I said, "Why would I have to prove that you're not him? You have to prove to me that you're not him. You're not."
Burden of proof. Burden of proof. If you assert a positive claim, then guess what? Burden of proof lies on you. So coming in here and saying that there's a contingency plan and you're fucking somebody else on PlayStation Lab's account, you could have proved it. Where are the messages that set up this contingency plan? Since it's been in the works for months, where are some messages from like 3 or 4 months ago or whenever this supposedly happened that he set up this contingency plan with you? But guess what? He couldn't provide any evidence of that.
But as
he wouldn't get in voice chat. He couldn't do anything. But you know what? Here's the real fucking kicker. Here's where we get to show fucking evidence, right? He got in a back and forth with Popo and fucking Killer, and Popo will explain that now.
As we went further down the rabbit hole, I asked him to provide evidence. That I said, let me ask, how are you logged into his account saying that you're not PlayStation Labs? He says, easy. I'm the one who made his account. Hell, I even made his YouTube channel. And I said, you didn't answer my question. My question was for him to provide evidence that that you're on his account doing this stuff. He didn't provide any evidence. He said he made the account. That doesn't mean anything. Basically, if he's logging on his phone or his computer or however he's logging in, can't log in on the PlayStation. I don't even think you could do it on the browser of the PlayStation. But besides
I should have tested that, but
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure you can. But regardless, if he's logged on his phone at his house and you said you made the account for him, it doesn't matter, because as soon as you try to log onto his account, even if you had the password or anything, it will say that it's a new IP detected, that you need his email address or his authentication code. And if he had an authentication code, how are you going to obtain that when it's going to go to his phone? Or did you have his email address? We don't know that. You didn't say anything with that. You said you just made it, and you made his YouTube account.
And these are all valid. These are all valid questions of evidence, because if you were in a court of law, you would have to prove these things. You would have to get transcripts and documents proving that it was you that logged in on this person's account, not them. They would have the IP address and everything. You would have all these different pieces of evidence.
Obviously, we aren't asking for that, but we're asking for some kind of proof.
I asked him to answer the question, and he goes, and I told you, I made the account. Let me tell you this. If you set up someone's computer, you would know their password to access their computer. They can change the password anytime they want. But if you did set up their computer, what does that have to do with their Discord that you set up and all this stuff? Which later on you claimed that you don't even live near this person, that you would buy a flight ticket to go see this person, which is irrelevant. And then I made a joke after that. I said, what, do you wipe his ass too? And I mean, come on. I mean, you're saying you said all this, you made this, you made this, you made this, set this up. What else? You also say you don't even live near the guy. So how exactly are you going to set up his computer from a range?
Now, here's where we get into the very important piece of evidence, which Killer is going to be nice enough to put up on the screen for everybody. You still there, Killer?
Yeah, I'm putting stuff up on screen right now. Like, I just got the thing that... okay.
In the pinned messages, if you will look, PlayStation Labs posted that something about... What did he say exactly? Let me look at the fucking pinned message real quick. He said, I will happily pay for your flight to come to Springville, since you're so obsessed to know if I'm a dead man or not. Key fucking word there. If I'm a dead man or not. PlayStation Labs speaking in first person.
Okay, hold on a minute. JIL, right? I don't see your point when you say that he made his YouTube channel for him, because obviously you need an email. How about, why the fuck couldn't PlayStation Labs make his own email? That's the thing I'm confused about, right? I don't know if you're arguing against or for. I don't know what bringing that up is for. Also, in regards to both parties need to provide evidence, that's not how it works. We literally explained burden of proof at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, burden of proof. Standard shit. Like, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to know what burden of proof is. And again, you can see on your screen, I will happily pay for your flight to come to Springville, since you're so obsessed to know if I'm a dead man or not. PlayStation Labs speaking in first person on his account in the Clothespin Discord. There's fucking evidence.
Really interesting you saying that the accused has the right to face the accuser, since we are accused of causing him to want to kill himself, when we have absolutely no involvement in that. We supported PlayStationLab for a while. We really tried to help him the best we could. We gave him advice. He didn't take the advice. What are we supposed to do?
Funny that your group of retards can sit there and make all these claims about how we fucking killed this man without any evidence, and yet we have evidence of him speaking on his account in first person. Please disprove that. Please disprove him saying, I'll buy you a plane ticket to confirm whether I'm dead or not. Where's the obituary? Where's the police report?
Oh, yeah,
Where's the news story?
I'd like to point out another thing. I know one of the comments on his video said something about how they heard police in the background of a call or something. I'd like to show you this from just yesterday, right? This was the last conversation that we had with PlayStationLab. One of the last few things he had mentioned is that his mom had called the police on his other brother. Which we ended up asking if it was the actual kid. What was it? A 7-year-old or something. We asked if it was a 7-year-old, but it was like 12 or something. But the point is, he has said that there was a police that were actively called to the scene.
Hold on. Are you fucking retarded? No. J.I.L's like, he was referring to Lab as the dead man. You misunderstood the sentence. There's no misunderstanding that sentence. It says, if I'm dead or not, in first person. That's not a misunderstanding. You're fucking, it's not our fault that you have an inability to comprehend basic English. That's your problem.
And as we continue on with this whole rabbit hole,
and then there's him saying that his mom called the police on his brother. Also, where are the recordings of this video call from other people? Because here's evidence on our end where he's saying that his mom called the cops on his brother.
Look, I'm not really minding the fact, like, even if I'm not pressing as much on the fact of whether or not he is alive or dead, as much as I am pressing on the fact that we are being accused of pushing this person to suicide with zero fucking evidence. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'd really like to see evidence of me pushing him to suicide. Like, you expect me to fucking be nice to these fucking people after they're coming at me, accusing me, and telling me they're fucking calling the cops on me? Please fucking do. I would love to be investigated for the supposed death of somebody I have nothing to fucking do with. So when I'm exonerated and walk out of the fucking goddamn courtroom, I can show evidence to the fucking world. So please, I'm begging you, do it.
Okay, also, Eternal Dragon Slayer, I'm kind of interested in what you mean by that. Do you mean like people who were involved with the League at one point, or people who just aren't the League at all? I'm curious who some of the other people are, because I legitimately have no idea what, like, obviously I still believe that unless there's solid evidence that these people have actually harassed PlayStationLabs, that there is no belief that they had pushed him to it. If you want my personal opinion on this, I think the thing that pushed him to it was the fact that he was going through this abuse and he didn't know what to do. We gave him advice, admittedly. A lot of people gave him advice. People on Reddit, people on Discord. They gave him advice on what to do. He didn't take that advice. He didn't know what to do.
He did follow.
But ultimately, I think the thing that would have pushed him was the absolutely horrible things that he went through, if those things were indeed
Thank you,
true.
Critical Lily. Somebody has fucking common sense here. Yeah, exactly. Like, show me evidence I did something wrong. People are like, oh, you could at least apologize and admit your part and shit.
Thank you.
People keep coming at me. If you show that I did anything wrong, like, please do. Like, that's what I'm saying. I want evidence. These are the same people. It's just ironic to me, right? Because these are the same people. Like, let me appeal to the reasonable side of people here. You know, you have people who are demanding proof of people who are saying he may or may not be dead, right? These same people who are talking and leaning so hard on evidence that some random person posted on Kiwi Farms are the same people who are attacking us without evidence of any wrongdoing on our part.
Yeah, I will say right now, the reason why we're asking for evidence is for the past things that we've all had to deal with. We've had to deal with League, we've had to deal with other stuff.
If you go watch my old video, exposing a plagiarist or banning a plagiarist live. This Max guy was plagiarizing music works on his YouTube channel. He applied for a VIP role in Clothespin server, saying that he was a musician. He clearly was just we exposed him. He was ripping off these musical pieces, right? And then when we made our exposed video, he left the Clothespins Discord and had he went on his channel and made a video pretending he killed himself and having his quote unquote Japanese sister get on his fucking channel and be like he committed seppuku or whatever with some Google Translate bullshit. Yeah, it was months later. It was months later after the fact that we like exposed him for plagiarism or whatever, right? But like he supposedly killed himself, and then like later on,
too, even after we exposed him, he was still doing some plagiarism.
And that's the thing is like later on we had proof he was still alive. People were coming to us and showing us he was talking in other Discords. People were like, yeah, he's doing this, doing that. And it's like, dude, suicide is not something that you play with. It's not something that you fucking fuck around with. And it's definitely not something you fucking fake. As somebody who knows people who fucking killed themselves, as somebody who's fucking diagnosed with clinical depression, all right? You're not going to sit there and fucking play around with something like the subject of suicide. And to me, this screams bullshit. The fact that somebody is going to this extent to try and fucking make up all this bullshit, and it screams bullshit because they refuse to provide evidence. They refuse to get in VC. They refuse to collaborate any of their stories with any facts or evidence, but they're going to sit there and they're going to fucking point fingers and throw blame at us for something that they're refusing to even prove.
Yeah.
If I see evidence that he is in fact dead, that is actually him, I will, without a shadow of doubt, make a video formally apologizing for everything that I have said.
That would be a very unfortunate.
Until that happens, we have no reason to believe that this has happened, since. If people are coming up to us and saying these things, right? Especially when these people are coming up to us and saying that we're the ones at fault for doing it, when there's no evidence of that.
Look, I don't want anybody to fucking actually kill themselves. If he fucking actually committed suicide, that's a very tragic fucking event, and like it's incredibly awful.
In Discord, if they made fun of it, if it was true and they started making fun of it, I would ban them without hesitation. I don't care. I've had enough people in my life commit suicide because they're all in the military and PTSD and shit like that.
Exactly.
Then
literally all of us here have some kind of connection towards suicide, right?
Yeah.
Grim's
how many?
I don't know if Grim wants to talk about any about his personal stuff about this, but I have depression. I've fucking been there where I've wanted to fucking kill myself. But that's the reason why whenever there's some situation like this, it fucking hits me. But at the same time, I have to be skeptical too, because there's some people who have used this disgusting stuff for attention.
I'm in a positive mental place in my life, so if people want to make fun of me for this shit, they can all fucking day long. Yeah. When I was 16, I threw myself in front of traffic, dude. I threw myself into a fucking truck, had my ribs straight broke, thrown into a fucking ditch. I ended up in a fucking mental hospital for like a couple of weeks for trying to kill myself when I was 16. So suicide's not something I fucking take lightly. You know what I mean? And that's when I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I was diagnosed with anxiety. I was diagnosed with insomnia. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I have a lot of issues that I had to fucking manage over time with fucking different methods, with medication, with just having a better positive mental attitude, with learning that there are things that I cannot control. There are things that I cannot change in my shitty home environment, right? So these are things I had to come to terms with. So when I was giving advice to PlayStationLabs, I was speaking from personal fucking experience. Okay? I know that the only way things will change in your life is if you take steps to make your life better, because you cannot control the actions of other people, right? I fully understand the impact of mental illness and the effects it can have on people, and exactly how life-threatening conditions like that can be. So, on the same token, how many of you guys have seen cases online of like emo girls or something going on there and looking for attention and saying, I'm going to kill myself, nobody likes me, I'm ugly or whatever, like fishing for attention, right? It's something that fucking happens. It is something that happens. Yes, it is a stigma, it's a stereotype that everybody who says they're going to kill themselves is seeking attention, right? But
I hate to bring this guy up, but Keemstar would sit there and do on this drama alert channel. This person said he's going to kill themselves. Then not a week later, he would post saying that it was just fake, that they were faking it for views.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's the thing is, that does unfortunately happen. So when something like this happens, you want to be cautious about it. You want to receive actual information that you cannot dispute. You want to see an obituary. You want to see a news report. You want to see a police report. Something substantial besides random Facebook messages or some fucking posts from people on Discord or some YouTube videos of people saying, oh, I heard from the brother of the cousin of this uncle that he killed himself. Like, I need evidence.
Okay.
And for me, that's not evidence.
I want to address also for Eternal Dragon Slayer, because it looks like you're confused from what Popo was trying to say. So what if you want to know what happened before his alleged suicide? He would come into our server. He'd come into the Clothesman server and ask for help with his situation. We'd give advice. He'd do this about every week, or maybe sometimes twice a week, and ask for advice. And we'd always give the same advice, and he'd always make an excuse not to do that advice. Eventually, people just stopped listening to his story because we gave advice. We gave the best advice that we can give, because I mean, we're not therapists, right? We're giving the advice that we fucking think is the best advice for him. And we gave the advice. He wasn't going to take it, so people just kind of stopped doing that, and other people were saying that they were getting, they were getting uncomfortable with him constantly talking about it in general chat, out in the the public chat for the server. And so I basically was just like, I'm gonna daddy up here, and I'm just gonna tell him to if you have a problem, move it over to DMs. That's my problem, right? I want, if somebody has an actual fucking issue or something like that that's going on in their life, I completely understand, and I've told them that my DMs are open for that. If you have a problem, feel free to DM me, right? But the thing is, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit here and let them talk about it in general chat if it's making other people uncomfortable, because there's some people who just want to go to the Discord server for fun, right? And to escape what's happening in their life. Sometimes some people have Discord as their escape from awful things. And so I understand that.
I come to Discord.
I didn't add pressure to the
sled pass.
Atlas, I'd like you to provide evidence for that. How did we add pressure to the problem? I'd really like to see some evidence on that.
Yeah, I'd really love to know. Again, accusations with zero evidence.
And also, hold on, I need to read this one too. Yeah, and also, Sean, I do agree that it's insane that if people were attacking PlayStation Labs, because apparently, did you say that NBA was attacking him before or something when he was adoptic or whatever? Or people who were outside of the league, who used to be league members or whatever. I think it's awful that they're attacking him. I think that is indeed absolutely awful, right?
To point the blame at
I'm hoping too.
I'm
hoping too that he didn't kill himself.
Who are you to say that we pressured anything?
Yeah, I think
he came here, and Jesus Christ, man, get out of here.
We didn't get pissy at him bringing stuff up. We asked him to move it over to DMs if he has a problem. There's a difference, right? Okay, thank you, Eternal, for clarifying again. They're not a part of the league. So they're not a part of the league. Whoever they are, fuck those people for doing that. Fuck those people for doing that. That's fucked up. Don't fucking genuinely harass somebody. We weren't fucking saying that. We're telling him to move it over to the DMs, because there's a lot of people who are very uncomfortable about him talking about this stuff very publicly in the server, Atlas.
Well, hold on. Again, I just want to clarify really quickly that a lot of the harassment's being directed at my channel, but I wasn't even home, nor on Discord at the time that this conversation happened, so I wasn't even there to say anything. I didn't even interact with him when this was happening, when Killer asked him to move to DMs for support or whatever. I wasn't even there. So how the fuck do I have anything to do with this situation? I really don't.
I'm not gonna say Atlas PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that either.
I can't
we have no evidence
or deny that. I'm not even going to bother with that stuff.
We have no evidence, so just
as for the league, I have nothing against the league. I have never been a part of the league, but if they did do shady shit like this, then shame on them. I don't understand it. It's stupid. Why? Just go do your own fucking thing. You don't need to sit there and start drama between everybody else. Just get a quick scoop.
Regardless, I do appreciate the people who are coming in here and listening, because genuinely,
hopefully you guys can understand like why.
Possibility. Sorry. I mean, genuinely, we're horrified by the possibility that this has happened. And we tried our best to help.
Okay, so some random Instagram account says that we're involved, and you're inclined to believe it without any evidence, which
I don't even use Instagram. What
the
fuck?
Hey, bro.
That should kind of say something about you, shouldn't it? That you believe some random statement from an Instagram account that has, again, no evidence that we're involved, but you're just gonna take them at their word because they said so on the internet.
Right,
that sounds really that sounds a lot like critical thinking to me.
I'm a random guy on the internet, and I'm telling you, Atlas, I need you to go look out your window. And do you see that pig flying out there? I want you to go out there and hug it because I told you to. I'm on the
internet. This is the classic situation, right?
Thank you for
this is a classic situation that if I say that I'm God. Right, and I have somebody on Facebook message me and tell me I'm God, and then somebody goes on Instagram and goes, "Grim is God confirmed." Does that make me God? Right? That's a dumb statement. You understand, because clearly you need more evidence than that, right? Again, if you want to fucking look at other YouTubers talking about shit like this, again, Set the Programmer, right? People saying, well, Beerus can't be beaten in Dragon Ball Super because he never has been beaten is a fallacious statement. Just because he hasn't been beaten doesn't mean that he can't be beaten, right? It's the same thing, right? You don't have to you do not have to disprove something that somebody does not prove beyond a certain standard of burden of proof, right? Like, if somebody tells you that, their brother is Chris Hemsworth or something, right? Like they're the long lost brother of Chris and Liam Hemsworth. You don't have to prove that they're not. They have to prove that they are. You understand how that works?
Let me put it like this. Actually, hold on. Let me read this one. I didn't read this. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying when, because I thought there was some kind of history with him in NBA because I saw it on the Kiwi Farms thread. I think it was the Kiwi Farms thread. Thank you for clarifying that. But let me try to put the analogy like this, right? Making an accusation as severe as somebody leading another person to suicide. Yeah, I hope as well nothing happened to PlayStationLab too. But making an accusation as far as somebody leading somebody to suicide, that is a big accusation. And it's very similar to the accusations made during the Me Too movement, right? And a lot of those accusations from the Me Too movement are, they provide evidence. They try their best to show that this is indeed, that this happened. But there are some cases where people take advantage of that. A good example of that is the prophetess in the fighting game community. She made an accusation towards somebody that was disproven. It was actually disproven that the person who she made an accusation towards was in a consensual relationship with her.
Mm-hmm. You know what also pisses me off about this situation is that if it comes out that he's not dead and this was all some fucking stunt, right? Mm-hmm. If that does happen, which I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying if it does happen, I'm going to predict right now that he's going to try to shift the blame somehow. Oh, I was hacked. Oh, it wasn't me. My brother got on my account or something like that. The classic shit, right? And all of these people who are throwing shade, all these people who are leaving the hate comments and harassing us, those people will be over there celebrating that he's alive, and they will be sitting there and going, oh, well, he's alive. That's the biggest thing. And those are the same people who are going to be backing up his excuses, and not one of them is going to be over here going, I'm sorry, he's a piece of shit, he did this for attention. Not one of them, I'm calling it now, is going to be critical about the situation if that happens. If that happens. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it happens, I called it. So look out for that, because again, if I see a fucking obituary or a news story or police report or something, and this confirmed that he died, right? like, that's a tragedy, and I will make a video addressing it as a tragedy, okay? But I haven't done anything to warrant anybody pushing blame towards me. I haven't pressured him in any way. I never told him, fucking kill yourself, you're a bitch, any shit like that.
Look, best case scenario is that, you know, he is doing this for he is doing this for some alternate reason, and he's not actually dead. Best case scenario is either that or he survived. Either way, that's what I'm praying for. I'm praying for his family, obviously. If he did pass away, I'm praying for the people in his family that actually cared about him. Apparently his mother was a piece of shit.
But again, please just take the time to have please take the time to have like critical thought when it comes to this stuff. Remember, guys, this is the same type of stuff. Y'all know I don't like NBA in the league, right? A lot of people don't. It's whatever. But this is this is the same situation. Remember whenever the stuff about perfection was happening. Remember those rumors. Look at how many people blindly followed NBA with the Nick Rakita stuff. Remember when all that was happening and all the fake evidence and all the fake accounts on Twitter and all that stuff was happening, and people were just blindly following him and people were just blindly believing everything, and nobody was confirming any evidence because nobody was taking the time to actually think for themselves. I'm seeing the exact same thing, just people on the internet just blindly willing to jump to a conclusion and believe something. And this day and age, you really need to do your research, you really need to have critical thinking skills, and you have to be skeptical of everything that you see and hear, so that way you can turn around and you can say, hey, I want to know the truth about this. I'm not just going to jump to assumptions. I'm not going to immediately label somebody guilty until they are proven guilty. Okay? Things like that we need to be careful with, because these types of accusations are the types of accusations that can ruin people's personal lives. They can ruin people's careers. They can get them canceled. All kinds of things that you see happen to people. Okay, and I'm not saying all of those are not legitimate, because, in the cases where they are legitimate, it obviously comes out, and those people deserve to be punished in whatever way people see applicable, right? Like, in what way a court of law would see, like, oh, if it's proven you raped somebody, you would go to prison, right? Like, that's what should happen, okay? So, it's the same thing here. Y'all can still hear me, right? I'm just making sure Discord's not being fucking retarded.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, but it's the same situation here, right? Same type of situation where you have to take everything with a grain of salt. You have to look at it under a microscope. You have to be critical of the situation, and you just need to wait for more evidence. You need to wait for more proof. You need to wait for more details to come out. Because as things sit, there is no definitive proof that anything has happened either fucking way. So the best thing you can do is wait for actual evidence. And again, you need to make sure that you can confirm the evidence that you're giving. Like, I could go pick out a random obituary of some random town and be like, oh, here's an 18-year-old who died. That must be PlayStationLabs, right? That doesn't make that PlayStationLabs, okay?
Well, I've also been doing
I've
been doing a bit of research myself, checking the news articles for potential suicides in his state. Since he did mention his state, because we were wanting to mention, he was asking what the CPS for his state was, what the number for it was, and I was like, I don't know, look it up. I wasn't in the same state as him, I don't know it.
Right.
But also critical please don't say that. We just fucking said that, like, suicide's fucking something that we don't want to fucking take lightly, right?
Well, like, I don't even want to address that shit at this point anymore. What I want to point out is, yeah, let's not, like, fucking give out the state that he's in based on the numbers or whatever, but, like, we'll just say that, yes, things like that, if you go and examine stuff like that, it's not super hard to figure out that shit. And again, hopefully us addressing this, you can understand my vitriol, you can understand my frustration and anger at this situation, and towards these fucking spurgs and trolls who want to come and harass me and spit venom at me for things that they're assuming or they're making up in their minds about me without ever considering proof or evidence. They just want to believe the word of some random people that they supposedly saw say something somewhere online. So hopefully, to the people of you who are reasonable and have, brains, you can understand why I'm not the most enthusiastic or kind person addressing this situation at the moment, considering the amount of bullshit people are heaping with while lacking evidence and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, fuck. I was gonna mention something and I completely forgot now.
So I mean, I'm just hoping that this addresses most of the fucking bullshit and people can fucking move on and quit like.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say.
Quit being sheep.
Yeah, I think at the very least we all should just, until we have an actual like a good verifiable source, right? Until then, I'm going to go off of the assumption that this is a Schrodinger's cat, right? For all of you that don't know what that is, basically he exists right now in a super state where we neither know if he's dead or alive, so he could be both.
Right. Well, again, I'm just leaning more towards the alive thing. Again, not to discredit suicide or to take away from the seriousness of mental illness or people's home situations or anything. But again, the fact that his Discord account was active online, talking all of this nonsense about some elaborate plan to hand it over to somebody else, and they refuse to provide evidence of this. They refuse to show anything. They refuse to get in VC. And then this is PlayStationLab, same account he's always talked to us on, by the way. And then that same person talks in the first person as PlayStationLab, saying, I'll buy you a plane ticket so you can come confirm whether I'm dead or not, right? To me, right now, that puts a big fat spot of reasonable doubt on this suicide situation, as it should most people, because it's the reasonable side of assumption. That's far more reasonable to look at that evidence and assume, again, I'm not even making the assumption, I'm just saying that I'm leaning towards that side because that is evidence that I can verify. That is evidence we have shown here of people speaking on the Discord. That is evidence that you have that's here. That was with a timestamp, shows you when it happened, shows you who it's from, the account name, all that wonderful stuff, as opposed to people editing random Facebook conversations that, again, there's really no way to verify or know anything about. So I know what if you want to call me an empiricist, fine, but I like evidence that I can verify for myself.
Jesus, let Popo have the floor.
Yeah,
I'm muted.
I don't know if you addressed this, but Critical, I read some of what you were saying.
Oh yeah, we addressed it. We weren't gonna really go in depth on addressing that because it's fucking vile.
All right, I just want to say one thing.
I already moved to the comment.
I just want to say one thing. I see it, but let me just one thing. You may not care about the incident or anything else. Does not mean other people do not care.
Yeah.
We're here talking about it. Other people want to talk about it. If you do not want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to leave. You don't have to be here if you find it boring. So we said our piece, and we're going to continue to say our piece until we're done.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what the case is, Atlas. Sorry.
If PlayStationLabs is calling it quits, then he's going about it the completely wrong way.
I think, going about it the wrong way, but that's a lot better of a fucking note than him actually being dead. So I'd much rather believe that than him being dead.
I've had talks with PlayStationLabs in the past, talking to him, saying, "Hey, man, well, you're 18. Go get a job. Go down to town, get a job." He would tell me, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe I'll go put an app here. I'll go put an app in here." Whatever. The next day, he says, "No, I didn't go do it. I'm not going to go get a job." Well, I've sat down and talked with him before in the past, and it just went back and forth. I'm not doing this. Okay, I'll do this. Thanks for this. I'm not doing this. It just came to the point where I just started ignoring it. I just started to ignore a lot of his outbursts and rants that he was going on like that until this happened. When this happened is when I said, no, I am drawing the line. He's now faking suicide. he's allegedly dead. If he is, and it's proven, like I said, I will make a formal apology on everything that I've done. He's only blocked for 300 seconds. But
Yeah.
the thing is, if he's faking this, shame on him. I don't want him anywhere near Clothespin's Discord. I don't want him anywhere near me, because I actually have family members and friends that are dead from being overseas fighting in a pointless fucking war in Iraq that I never get to speak to again. And somebody that just comes over here and is faking it just for a little bit of a clout and attention, I want nothing to do with you. First thing I want to do is punch you and curb stomp you to the fucking ground, because it's despicable. But anyway, happy thoughts.
Yeah, Trunks, I agree. There's nothing wrong with quitting YouTube and just, doing other things, but if that's what he did with this situation, he went about it the wrong way. He should have just said, I'm done, and not made it about suicide. But I'm not saying that that's the case that he did that, right? But in the case of if that's what he did, right, then he did it wrong.
As for claims that are on like Instagram, like Atlas, you brought up saying Instagrams, some users said this about that, and you're saying it was our problem. I want to let you know right now that if you go to Clothespin's Discord or Clothespin's YouTube channel, you'll see a link to Discord, and it should still be active. I shouldn't have been deleted unless it got deleted.
Yeah,
but
I think it was deleted when that one person came in the other couple of weeks back. Hold on, I'll check the fucking. Right.
This Discord is an open Discord. We only ban birds. What that means is people that come in here just to troll, just to clout chase, and want to cause nothing but trouble. People are more than welcome to come in here and chat. This is a community. They are welcome to do so. However, I will not sit there and take this kind of stupidity. That it just won't. If he caused all this drama for views, it's not confirmed. I personally think he did. Until proven wrong, I think that he's going about this the wrong way. Because things that he was saying in our chat, we asked him to come into voice chat, and he refused. At that point in time, when voice chat was asked for him to come in and talk to, we've talked to him before.
Yeah, we know what his voice sounds like.
He backed down and said that we're harassing him now. We're giving him too much stuff going at him.
I need to clarify. This was earlier today. This was the
yes.
person who claimed to have not been him, but on his account. Just in case, before somebody tries to say you just said you harassed him. Just in case.
Sorry. Yeah, what he said. This was like 5 hours ago, and every time we brought it up, he was saying, "I'm just a messenger." Well, if you say you talk to him all the time, why can't you just come in and be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" All you have to do is just say hi. Yeah, we're gonna know the difference, and then we're gonna go, "Oh shit!" Now we have somebody that's on his account going, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. If somebody joins in and with a different account, because I did double check. There are indeed links out there for Clothespin's server. I had to double check. There are two ones that are active. No expiration date.
And if you do join the Discord and one of the mods or anybody harasses you, I will deal with them. Or Grim will deal with them. Or Killa will deal with them. If Killa's harassing you, I will deal with Killa. If Grim's harassing you, I can't do anything.
Clothespins will deal with it.
I just say stop.
Yeah, stop. You two balance each other out.
But Clothespins has been, like I said, he's been gone for 2 weeks. He's been doing hiking in the mountain. The dude's jacked. He's a jacked Asian boy. And
Mans is a straight Chad. Mans is a straight Chad.
If I lived where he lived, I'd probably be up there hiking and throwing up a lung.
Probably.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Probably over there boxing.
That altitude, we'd probably fucking die. We'd probably die at that altitude for real. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if he took a selfie of him like manhandling a bear tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say he's fucking like boxing bears out in the fucking woods.
Dude, I told him, I was like, I fully expect you to summit Everest one day, and he's like, dude, I totally would. Like, but like, no, at the end of the fucking day, what I wanted to address about the fucking comments that were going on there, again, yeah, it's not about jumping to conclusions. People jumped to conclusions and started harassing us, and people jumped to conclusions based on random statements made by people on the internet. They jumped to conclusions. We formed an educated opinion based off of the things that we can see and verify within the Clothespins Discord server. Okay, that's what we're doing. So that's not jumping to conclusions. That's not us fucking fabricating shit or making up theories or rumors. These are, educated thoughts. These are sound lines of logic that we're using to say this is a possibility based on the evidence that we have in hand. We have not seen any convincing evidence to the contrary besides what we have. And again, we'll wait and we'll hope for the best. But at the end of the day, I can fucking promise you that if this is a fucking case of fucking bullshit and lies and excuses, that I'm gonna go in with no fucking lube.
Oh no, I understand. I understand critical, but like you can see how what you said kind of came across fucking a bit wrong. I respect you for not wanting, getting very angry about people who potentially fake their death for drama. We don't know he's faked his death for drama for sure, just as we don't know he's actually dead. Right? We don't know he's dead. We don't know he's alive.
That's why I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying, but if it is the case, I will drop an RIP diss track that's gonna make people wish. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do something. I'll make a fucking video. I'll do what I'll go in.
Yeah.
If that is the case, trust me. If that is the case, trust and believe I'll say something. And again, if it's the case he's actually dead, trust and believe I'll address that.
Bro, I don't even know if Dr. Disrespect is alive. All right.
What the fuck? This is... Oh man,
but that's another thing, right? That's another thing, right? Like, nobody can confirm what happened to him, but people are all over Twitch talking about, like, yo, guess what? Like, he fucking went and, like, did some fucked up shit. He probably raped some kids or whatever, which is why he got... Nobody fucking knows what happened. But people on the fucking internet... People on the internet like to talk and assume the worst out of any bullshit situation because they don't have evidence. Their minds scramble to fill in the blanks with the most bullshit fucking thing that they can spew because they think it happens to be the most interesting thing.
I'll say one thing to that before moving on from that subject, kind of getting off track a little here. Yeah. But with stuff that's like that, usually what it is if something happens, somebody knows and they want to be the first one to crack that case. So look at me. I said something first. That's why you saw a lot of people on Twitter like, I know what happened, but I'm not going to say anything. They just wanted to get onto that, oh, I've got the mysterious look at me. They actually may not have any clue what the hell's going on. But to this day, it's almost 2 weeks and we have no idea but theories. So how many people really know?
Well, I mean, it's like the situations about rumors about video games, right? Like let's say, for example, like Tekken, right? Like, there's been no fucking details or fucking information about a Tekken 8 or like what its development looks like or whatever. But you have people who will sit there and be like, "Oh, look, I think possibly that," or like fucking like actually, I'll use something that more people probably fucking know of, like Dragon Ball Super, right? You have people who are like, "Oh, it's confirmed. They are going to bring back Kid Buu, and Kid Buu is going to go and fight Beerus, and he is going to get God Ascension power, and Goku and Vegeta will have to fuse into Ultra Instinct, Super Evolution,
what the fuck does this have to do with anything? I'm
Ultimate Form."
What the fuck?
Hold on. Ultimate Form to defeat Kid, and it's like those people have no fucking proof. There is no rumor like that. These are people. They're people pretending. They're fucking putting something out there because they know it's going to get them views. It's going to get them attention. People are going to go, oh, and most people shit on YouTubers like that, right? Like those fucking stupid theory craft channels.
You could have just ended it at
channels that have no evidence.
You could have just ended it at the fucking channels that make shit like the Super Saiyan curse, and we could have just fucking understood exactly what you fucking meant.
Didn't we ban Dragon Ball talk from this fucking shit? God damn.
Did we ban it from the live stream?
We banned Dragon Ball debates. So we banned Dragon Ball debates. We don't do Dragon Ball debates because we're
touching that borderline.
It's literally just people who are like, nah, Beerus can't be beat, nah, Broly's strongest, nah. Like, all right. Anyway.
Also, rule of thumb too is if you read something on the internet and you don't know if it's true or not, rule of thumb: Do your own research if you question something.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Confirm it.
I literally appealed to the fucking smart part of everybody's brains earlier and said, please take everything with a grain of salt and try to fucking find actual evidence. Again, just like if he's alive and he comes back and he starts making excuses, I want fucking goddamn proof. I want video evidence that your brother got on your account and did this, or I want video evidence that you were hacked. I want something, right? Like you can't, like I'm saying, if that happens,
Or,
to address
possibly
address what Peaceful Kira is saying.
If he comes back and he says that he attempted and he survived, that's that if that happened, then show evidence and then we'll all be fucking with him, right? But at the same time,
Well, hold on. But if he does show evidence that he attempted suicide and survived, that's great that he survived. But then I also want him to show evidence that it wasn't him on his account coming in there and starting shit with us.
Oh yeah, well that too, but.
Because that account saying because that account was in there saying, oh, he's dead, I got on his account, so that would then mean that he survived, which is great, but then he went in and lied and said he was dead, which again, that's not excusable. I'm just saying if that happens, again, I'm not saying that's the case.
If that did happen, I'll go off the benefit of the doubt of like just jackasses fucking saying that he's dead, just like how just like how we don't know, eventually he doesn't know and he just assumed, right? The difference between us two, though, is the fact that we didn't assume that he's dead.
But that's the thing is,
made a reasonable guess.
He would have to, but see, that's the thing is, for me to give him that doubt, he would have to prove that he did have this contingency plan and he did give his account to somebody. He would have to prove that. Yeah. It would have to be backdated to before this shit happened, and it would have to be reasonable. Where he's like, "Yo, if something ever happens, like take this account, blah 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 blah," like. Also, let me point something else out to you. Let me fucking say this right now.
He's not dead. He's not truly dead. He might be missing.
Let me point something else out that's very serious here. Okay. Now, this is going to come off as controversial to you guys. But if he had this contingency plan, let's say for the sake of the worst possible case scenario, and this is a tragedy, and he actually killed himself. Let's say that happened. Okay, if it happened, and he had this whole contingency plan in place, that if he kills himself, this person is going to take over his Discord. That would mean that the person who took over his Discord and his YouTube and all that would mean that that person knew in advance that he had plans and thoughts of killing himself, and they failed to do anything about it. They refused to go and call somebody to get him the help he needed, which makes them a fucking piece of shit.
That's a valid point. The only way that ever is like a non-valid point is if, actually no, not even that's a fucking valid point. I was going to say if he said in the strange behalf that I get fucking killed or I die in some accident, right? Because I already have a fucking kind of contingency plan, quote unquote, of like if I ever die in some kind of horrible way, I'm gonna have Violet tell everyone.
Right, but that's the whole thing. Like that's fine, but that's the whole thing.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The claim was fine.
The claim was. The claim was that it was a contingency plan, that they had knowledge he wanted to kill himself and they were going to take over his accounts if he did it. That means that person's a fucking actual walking piece of fucking shit because they refused to get him help. They let him kill himself and took over his accounts, which was the plan.
Did he, was the wording of if he killed himself used? I don't remember.
It was a contingency plan for him killing himself. If you had knowledge that, again, also a lot of these people were saying that, like, oh yeah, he was depressed and he had all this pressure on him and he wanted to kill himself. Again, if you all fucking knew that he legit wanted to kill himself, which he never told us, like, again, he had talked before in the past that he had thoughts, but he never said in here, like, I'm gonna go kill myself or whatever. But again, if you had knowledge of that and you didn't do anything, you're a piece of shit.
Alright, then I also want to address, Eternal Dragon Slayer, it's understandable he freaked out. This is kind of like a, this is a pretty high-stress situation. Obviously, when I heard the fucking news about this potentially happening, I obviously was a bit freaked out about it too. But, we appreciate that you have, you're sitting here listening to, to our side, that you actually not just mass disliking our stuff and not even listening and accusing us when we had nothing to do with the situation. We tried our best to help PlayStationLab.
Oh, we're at 7 likes and 6 dislikes. Now we're at 7 out of 7. I dislike this channel.
Popo's gonna keep the fucking equilibrium. We can't have more than 50%.
God damn it! Now it's 8. Now I gotta unlike it. Fuck.
Let's see. I never. Well, get one of your friends to tell us. I don't know. Not on your account.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you the 3 things I'm here for: eat ass, smoke grass, sled fast.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Hell yeah.
If you don't know what that means, I can't help you. I think we pretty much dived into everything that needs to be said at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Dr. KFC. I didn't know if he said suicide, but thank you for clarifying. Yeah, that sounds a little bit more in line with something that, you know, like I said, I told my girlfriend if anything ever happens to me, like if I get in some horrible accident or something and she needs to inform everyone what happened, then for her to do it. Yeah, I'm hoping that there'll be some kind of update to this that's a positive update. Obviously, you know, as much as we'd be angry about him, you know, faking this, we'd much rather him be faking this than it being real.
I'd rather you be alive to hate me than be dead and can't.
Thank you, Eternal. Thank you. Yeah, we'd all much rather him be, you know, faking this and be alive than this be real. You know, and like all of us said, you know, if he ends up coming out that this is real, you know, we will all make, you know, videos duly that we need to address the situation, right? But we're wanting to be a little bit rational here and wait for, you know, some more information to come out about the situation. No, you know, no problem. Like I said, thank you for listening to our side. Personally, we're wanting to believe that he's alive, both because of, you know, past interactions with him, as well as just, you know, we want him to be alive. And there's no evidence for him to be dead at this point, right? So there's no evidence on either side. So you can either take that as there's no evidence that he's dead, or you can take this as there's no evidence he's alive. You can take either way. Either way is equally just as true right now.
We'll see you tomorrow or the day after. Like I said, usually stuff with this it's silent. It usually has news, unless you're Dr. Disrespect. Don't know anything.
I just realized Grim just fucking got yeeted out of the voice chat somehow.
Yeah.
So we're just
alone.
We're
the
alone
whole fucking Dr. Disrespect thing got me triggered because I want to know. I like the guy.
Dr. Disrespect?
Dude, I love Dr.
Disrespect. I mean, I didn't like him at first, but I like him now. Yeah. Like, I've started to like him more over time.
He's an 80s fucking guy. That's his whole shtick.
I think we're off topic right now. We should probably end the stream.
Bro,
Also,
where do you think I got my whole 2006 2007 email thing from? Him. I know we're kind of off topic because we actually explained everything that we had to say on the situation that happened within the Discord. Yeah. Like I said, we tried to get him in VC. He started deflecting, and then that was it.
I think we should clarify the person who's claiming to be the person on his account who's claiming not to be him. We tried to get him in VC to confirm that it wasn't him. They were deflecting. We tried to get him to do anything to confirm they weren't. But the main point is, when before any of this stuff, before he had made his video, we were trying our best to support him, and we were trying our best to give him the advice that we think is good. Good night, Eternal.
Yeah, we're probably, wonderful time.
Probably about to end this unless Grim's back. I was say we're about to end this because Grim isn't even here, and I don't want to stream on his fucking.
I do. Fuck that guy.
I'm back.
Oh shit.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get my mic synced up.
I mean, my mic.
I
There
just
we
saw
fucking go.
KFC. I just saw you. You DM'd to me. The reason why we're saying the word suicide and not dead because yeah, he didn't say suicide in the conversations on Discord. I understand that, but the video is implying that the video and everyone that's saying it is saying that he committed suicide. He didn't just die. Right?
It literally says an attack.
Yeah.
Suicide.
Yeah.
And on his Discord, he was saying about.
So that's the reason why we're saying suicide right now. We aren't saying dead. And you know, he also did say that there's a possibility that he's just missing as well, which is a possibility, a convenient possibility, but it's a possibility.
I mean, if he's rebranding, this is a pretty bad rebranding joke.
Also, hey Zandiel, welcome to this shit show. You missed all the good stuff.
God damn it, Sam. Hey, what's up, my what was it?
Best friend for life
Best
or whatever.
friend forever. Your bestie for Esty, apparently.
All right, so you want to just end the stream or?
Well, I think the last thing I'll say is like obviously monitor the situation. We'll be monitoring the situation. But again, I stand by everything I've said here tonight. And I know we're gonna continue to be harassed and blamed and finger pointed at. Like the comments are still gonna keep popping up. People are still gonna be mass disliking. That's fine. Like obviously there's a clear agenda, and there's just people looking for an excuse to jump on a bandwagon and hate. It's nothing new. Ever since I've been doing videos on my channel, as you guys know, I have had people make many accusations about me. I've had many people throw shade at me. I've had many people beef with me. And again, the entire time I've always addressed everything with logic, consistency, and, you know, just a calm, cautious, and decided and well-educated perspective, right? I try to go and get all the facts. I try to show receipts. And so, I mean, that's how I've always approached things. Everybody else who's ever made accusations and said things against me and come out and threatened me and tried to bully me and all of these things, none of them have ever brought proof or receipts. It's just another one of those situations. I take it as another day at the office. Obviously, the situation's a lot more serious if it involves the death of a person. But again, hopefully that's not the case. It would be tragic. But at the end of the day, we're not, you know, we'll all hold our breaths, I guess I should say. And we'll see if there will be any verification and actual evidence rather than just hearsay and random messages on social media platforms. Because again, I'm not going to take those as verification, just like I didn't take some fake, you know, statements on the internet about somebody being a pedo or something like that. Again, you have to show me evidence before I'm going to be comfortable with agreeing with something like that. That's just how I am, because at the end of the day, if you were put on trial for a crime you didn't commit, would you want people to just believe whatever rumors people were spreading about you, or would you want people to ask for evidence, prove that this man did something wrong, prove he's guilty? Or would you just want people to jump on the bandwagon and go, yeah, he's guilty because somebody said that he is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw a video the other day by Legal Eagle. If any of you guys watch his channel, I like Legal Eagle. But he mentioned that the country, you know, the United States, we have the core belief within our justice system that you're innocent until proven guilty, because the founding fathers believed that it is better if a guilty person is off scot-free than if a innocent person is found guilty of something. If the innocent person is persecuted as if they're guilty, right? And that's the same situation here. We need to remember that we need to keep, as we move on into this. I understand there's like the current idea of cancel culture and stuff like that, and the the Me Too movement type of way that we're doing it. That's probably going to start to be a fucking more common thing. But we need to realize if we're going to implement this, we need to have the realization that if people are still having the right, they should still have the right to innocent until proven guilty, right? And we had nothing to do with this situation 100%. In regards to pushing him towards this, potentially killing himself. We tried our best to help PlayStation Lab, right? And
Yes.
this, this whole situation fucking is just absolutely horrifying to us. The fact that, this he potentially could be dead and people are blaming us when we tried to help him. And
It's mind blowing.
And I just, I want to thank everyone for actually sitting down and listening to our side of the story.
Yeah, for the people who listen and like had enough common sense to come over and like actually sit down and think about the situation, I applaud your critical thinking skills and your ability to, instead of be a sheep and blindly believe whatever you hear, to actually take a moment to consider our side and consider the evidence. Again, not everybody is going to be rational enough to do that, but I mean, it's the internet, and I guess you really can't expect much from the internet these days. But at the end of the day, I welcome people to criticize me. I welcome people to question. I welcome people to, make their own inquiries. But if you're going to point fingers at me, you better have fucking proof to back up your accusation. So, that's all I have to say about the matter. When it comes to the negative side of it. Other than, of course, again, I hope that, PlayStation Labs didn't actually kill himself. That he's alive. So, I think we've addressed everything that we can possibly address. Zan, if you want to hop into the Clothespins Discord and kind of like hear what happened, we can always explain it in a voice chat or whatever, but yeah.
We'll do that after the stream here. We'll just end the stream right now.
Yeah, because we've been streaming for quite a while, and we already went over it, and we don't really need to go over it again on stream. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to hop into the Discord, that's fine. But yeah, at the end of the day, I again appreciate people for taking the time out to watch this and hear what we had to say about it. And I apologize if I came off harshly at first, but again, I'm pretty sure that you guys can understand that you wouldn't take too kindly to being accused of shit that you didn't have a part of either. So. It'd be like if somebody on the internet called you a pedophile with no fucking proof or anything, and they're just like, oh yeah, I heard some guy say that you, like, touched a kid, so it must be true, right? Like,
Jesus.
Kill it.
The fucking Smash community, am I right, boys?
Are you fucking exposing me again?
Are you part of the Smash community?
No, I'm talking about the screenshot that you have up there.
Oh. I don't have a screenshot up, do I? I don't have a screenshot.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm watching an old one. Never mind.
Genius.
Oh boy.
Mine.
Anyways, thanks for coming out, and we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. Stay tuned for shit again. Like, I previewed a song, not a diss track, so before people jump to fucking conclusions, because there was a bunch of people on that too talking. Somebody deleted their comment, but they were talking about like how like, fuck you, bitch, you better not open your mouth about the fucking league or whatever. Like, dude. I have nothing to say about the fucking league. I said everything I have to say about them in NBA. That shit's not relevant at all. Like, why the fuck would I make a diss track over shit that's literally fucking so old that it's fucking turned to dust by now, okay? Like, again, I don't know why people believe that, but whatever. Believe what they want to believe. It's literally just a song. Has nothing to do with anybody. It's not a diss track. But yeah. So, thanks. If you want to stay up to date on this shit or whatever, you want to hear the song or whatever the fucking case is, if you want to subscribe, go ahead. It doesn't matter to me either way. But at least thank you for coming out.